It's August 7th, and I thought I would create a quick video about how you can tell if the problem you're having with your chemical feeder is with the injection fitting or is it with the tube. And I'm going to show you exactly how you know right now. So here we have a pool that recently had a chemical feed problem, and the chlorine seems to be feeding slowly. But at the same time, the lines are completely charged. Look at that. You know, so the actual line itself is completely full of chlorine, and you can see the bubbles moving up there, right? But you see at the same time, this is also a really big pool. So even though it looks like it's moving good, that might not be the rated 72 gallons per day. So what you can do is, rather than changing the pump tube, you change the injection fitting. And that would particularly be true if you constantly find yourself changing pump tubes. So at this pool, they change pump tubes pretty often, right? And when you're doing that, usually it doesn't have anything to do with the chlorine feeder, especially if it isn't a recurring thing. So the first thing we're going to do is obviously turn the feeder off. And the second thing we're going to do is pop off our clip, right? Which is always made easy with the Leatherman. You know, there is no more valuable tool in this business than this thing, in my opinion. Let's pop off our clip. Say you don't even need to get your fingers all blooded. All right, when I pull this off, if it's under like extreme high pressure, we'll know that there's actually an injection fitting problem, because there shouldn't be. It should just dribble out. But if it's shooting all over the place, we know we got a problem with our injection fitting. So I'll try to do this with one hand, not easy. All right, here we go. Ready? Let's see. Oh, not too bad, actually. Not too bad at all. So if the injection fitting, well, actually the injection fitting is bad because it shouldn't be pulling air, you know, like that. That means that the spring is stuck in it. So the injection fitting definitely needs to be changed for sure. But the problem we were having here was actually for a different reason. When you have a check valve injection fitting, there's a spring-loaded ball in there that pops up and down. So when the feeder is actually pumping chlorine into the pool on the feed process, right, or when the pressure is the highest, pressure, release, pressure, release, pressure, release, and there's a little ball in there that clicks up and down. And that's why this one actually isn't working, because the ball is stuck in the open position. So rather than being jammed, it's actually the opposite. It's too open, which counterintuitively works against you on a check valve type setup like this. Okay, the second thing I wanted to show you is that I need to change this acid line, right? And for many years, I would take the turn off the feeder and just start on clipping things, and then inevitably what would end up happening is I would get covered in muriatic acid. A much better solution is to, about an hour or so before you change the tubing, just fill a bucket with straight water, have the feeder, leave the feeder on, and pump the straight water through the pool, to the pool. So what does that do? It cleans out the line, and now there's no more acid in it. So you're not dealing with getting yourself covered in acid for no reason just to change, you know, 25 feet of tubing. You run it for, you do everything else that you're doing here, right? And then at the very end, the bucket will be about half empty on this setup, because it's a 38 per day. So if you're here for an hour, it'll pump about a gallon of straight water through all that tubing and flush all the acid out, so you don't get covered in muriatic acid. But that's all for today on this unsolicited advice session about, can you tell if it's a pump tube or the injection fitting?